Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SCL0320 representing JVS. This is the first official video because I know released out a lot of videos today, but those were actually done in 2015. One was the worst films of 2015, another one was the most anticipated films of 2015 or 2016, and then of course it's this one, which I did not know I'd even be doing this, to be quite honest with you. I'm off today, I'm enjoying my brand New Year's Day, hopefully y'all are as well. But today I actually wanted to review a new anime that I just started. Probably shouldn't because there's a lot of stuff I need to be reviewing, but I was like, this is actually too good to pass up. And the name of the anime I'm talking about is One Punch Man. I heard a lot of different people talking about it, raving about it, saying that this is one of the best animes, or action animes I should say, since Dragon Ball Z or since Yu Yu Hakusho or Rurouni Kenshin. I was like, okay, whatever you say, you know. And then I finally see the anime, and I see the main character, Saitama, Saitama. And when I see him, I was like, this is the weirdest looking character I think I've seen in a long time. His bald head, plain look, and just his cape and his outfit. I'm like, what is this, you know? And then when I see him go up against basically the first opponent, technically, and him just punching them, it's like, crap! And they disintegrate in front of nothing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down a little bit and watch this. But let's go ahead and go through. I'm gonna be reviewing two different episodes. The first episode was named The Strongest Man. I'm gonna give you a synopsis of that real quick. One Punch Man is too strong and growing tired of his weak enemies. Will he ever face a real challenge? So one of the things I really liked about this episode, it showcased the character and his dilemma just as much as it showed like his backstory. Because when it showed his backstory and him, that little weird kid that had the chin, oh my god, I was laughing so hard. But I mean, the thing about it was that there was this mutant, and it seems as though there's been a lot of splicing going on of people eating stuff or getting exposed to stuff, and they transform it into these kind of like super villains in a sense, as well as I think there's a faction of superheroes as well that are around. But the thing about it is this crab creature's trying to get this little boy, and like before that happened, like he went face to face with it, and the creature was like, "You have eyes like me, you know, and dead eyes, basically." And it's funny because he was like, "Dude, I'm unemployed. I'm looking for a job. Like I don't care about you, basically." And I was like, it speaks volumes of a strong character in and of itself. But then when the little boy is basically about to get killed, like he jumps and intervenes, and I was like, this guy's about to get killed? Because the claw creature, the crab creature's got his claws bloody. He basically alluded to that. Any person he got across, he was killing them. And I mean, it was like, at the moment, he kind of had to realize that when he first went face to face, he just didn't care. And I don't know if that was him not having a care of life or just him just being stagnant in and of itself. But it was like he was dead inside, essentially, until he got into this fight and this altercation with this crab creature. I was like, this is some excellent animation, like from a visual standpoint and from a creative standpoint, like because the voice actors are doing a really good job of painting like this funny kind of montage and dialogue going back and forth. Even though this is all in Japanese dialect and it's actually subtitled, I was still able to get into it. The only problem that I have is that the subtitles are not coming through as fast as when they're actually saying it, so it's kind of off-putting and such, because sometimes I have to really pay attention to it. But I mean, the fight sequences are awesome. I mean, that whole background sequence I really liked, but even more than that, when he was just going to the grocery store and just living his normal life, like when stuff was just happening, it was like, it didn't faze him at all. And I thought that was really interesting, especially when he went up against the quote-unquote strongest man. And I was like, the scope of this is huge. Like, I mean, I think, all honesty, I've seen some amazing anime movies that have come through in the past few years that have been to this level of scope. And this anime showcases all the great action sequences, all the interesting ways that you can utilize a character, as well as keeping the fun appeal to it. But I think my favorite part about this episode was definitely the dream sequence. The dream sequence showed like his vulnerability. And it's like he was just so plain and dead inside. Like when you saw when he had claimed like he had trained for 3 years straight and trained himself to lose his hair. He trained so hard. It's like it was two different people. It seemed like two different people. But when he was fighting in the dream sequence, you see like his need to be able to be a difference. It's like he's so strong now it doesn't even matter. And so I really love that. I mean, just from the fights, Luke, like when he was like pulled out of his apartment and they were just going in, I was like, this is amazing. Like this is a real fight, and I could feel it. And so then he woke up, but either way, I really did like the first episode. It was a good showcase episode. It wasn't anything really big that happened. But one thing I found about this anime is that after the credits roll, there's something that shows towards the next one. Only anime that I knew that did that a lot was High School of the Dead. Like every time the credits rolled, there was a lot afterwards. And so you might want to make sure you pay attention to after the credits so you can kind of see what's going ahead. Because at the end of this one, there's this weird cyborg guy, and he's just seeing all these dead cattle everywhere. But either way, first episode, I would give it 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was a good introduction episode. Strongest man. I'm interested to see the next one. So I proceed to look at the next one. By the way, this is all on Hulu. So if you got Hulu, you can definitely watch it. The next episode's name is The Lone Cyborg. So the character's name is Genos. He's a cyborg, really interesting character. I'll get into that in a little bit, but I'll read the synopsis. Genos, a cyborg who is seeking justice, fights with a mosquito monster along with Saitama. So what's so funny about this episode is that Genos has been trying to track this mosquito monster, but the reports on the news that were claiming that there were swarms of mosquitoes that were just killing things, like uncontrollably, draining all the blood out of everything. And I was like, is this a vampire? You know, but then like Saitama, he was interacting with this random like mosquito that like got him on his hand and got on his forehead, and like he's using such force, it was like it's hitting his body. And then also you just see him in like Dragon Ball Z mode, like trying to stop it, and he was losing it. But at the same exact time that was happening, there was another fight going on outside where Genos was trying to stop this mosquito monster, and you find out it's this creature, this female, and she's controlling them because like when she actually took a swarm of them and just destroyed this guy, I was like, dang. So I mean, one thing I'll say about this anime is very violent. Like if you if you're squeamish or anything like that, like you might not want to see this, because even in the first episode, how Saitama dealt with the crab monster, like that was really gory. But in this one, it was just like, dang, these mosquitoes are savage. And so the fight goes on with Genos and this mosquito lady, and like he gets messed up pretty bad, but he showcases his real power, and I was like, this dude's got some skill, you know, especially with flame, with fire. And like the battle ensues, and then he's kind of put in a bad corner, and I was like, this dude's about to die. And all of a sudden you see like Saitama, he was kind of there interacting with him, and he's trying to tell, you know, Genos trying to tell him like to stay away, and of course Saitama saves his life. And after that point, like he wants to dedicate himself to being the disciple. Now, one of the things I really liked about this episode is the fast-paced dialogue sequence that happens when Genos goes to Saitama's apartment. Because normally in a general anime, like I can read really fast, but it was like when I was hearing him talk, the voice actor did it so well that I was like intrigued in the dialogue. Like I was sitting there paying attention, listening to subtle cues, and I was like, it meant something because the character's got depth, he's got history, and even when you think about, if you haven't seen the episode, when you see the episode and you really understand what really happened to him, and Saitama was just like, he's pacing, he's like, man, this dude need to shut up. It's really heartfelt, and it was really well done, and that's one of the first animes that have actually done that for me. Seeing fast-paced dialogue that I really wanted to pay attention to, and I was engaged in. I was just like zeroed in. And then from that point, it's a lot of stuff that happens at the apartment. It's really funny, but you find out that somebody is, the head cheese that's really controlling a lot of stuff that's happening. And I think the next episode is talking about a obsessive professor. And so I think he's the one that's been creating a lot of these creatures. But I don't know yet. I'm about to go to episode 3 really soon, work on some videos. But hopefully you, what did I give this episode rating? The Lone Cyborg. I actually give it a 9 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it a little bit more. I think it was because of the new introduction of the character. Not just that, like, I don't know. I think there's something that's a really good build-up that's coming up. But we'll see what happens next. This is SCL0320 representing JBS. Hopefully you've enjoyed my 2-part episode review for One Punch Man Season 1. And stay tuned, stay locked for episode 3 and 4 reviews. Maybe to come out either tomorrow or if not, a little bit later on tonight. Y'all stay locked. We back. Stay locked, really?